there, it's Karen with InspiredByGram.com. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you my weekly challenge card. It's a card design that I chose for my team members. I send out a email Sunday morning usually, and it gives them pretty much the entire week to come up with their creation as well using a card sketch. So I used a sketch from Mary Fish, and I'll show you right here. It looks like this. So this is what I emailed them. And you can see from my card design, I changed it and rotated the card more of a portrait mode. But today's card in this video, I'm going to actually make it horizontally for you guys so you can see the difference in the card layout. So let's get started creating the card. It's actually a really fun card, and it's a great card to use scraps with. So let me bring in the paper here. I'm using the Peony Garden, the designer series paper. It's in the annual catalog, and it's on page 149 if you're interested. Lots of pinks and grays, different gray, shades of gray there, plus the white. Our stamp color we're going to be stamping with is basic gray. It's a dark gray. The stamp set is Tasteful Touches, and it is teamed up as a bundle with Tasteful label dies. And I know you have seen me use these dies a lot. It's because I really enjoy using them, and they give me so many different options for my sentiment labels. And then the basic gray panel on that card is embossed with the Ornate Floral embossing folder. All right, so we're going to get started. Let me go over the measurements for you. I have a card base that is gray granite, and it's cut 8.5 by 5.5. I've already pre-scored it at 4 1/4. And again, we're making a horizontal card layout. And then here is the embossed paper. This is basic gray. It's cut 3 by 5. And what we're going to do is we're just going to layer this right on that gray granite. Today I'm going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm just going to add this all the way around. And then just center this right on the card front. And I like the glue because you can shift it while you have it on that paper if you need to, and to get it straight. So that's going right across this way. Then the next thing we need to do is I've got my Peony Garden Designer Series paper. That piece is cut, let's see, 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. I just want to double check. Yeah, I did cut that correctly. Let me just check this way. It looks a little odd, but it's just because it's almost a square and it's like totally playing with my eyes. So we need to cut this down, and I wanted to show you this piece, this part, how I cut it down. We want it in 1 1/4 inch strips, and we want it to stay in the same pattern, okay, because it's kind of like a puzzle. So we're going to cut that at 1 1/4. And I'm going to just keep it up here off to the side so I keep it in order. And then we're going to cut the remaining piece, again, 1 1/4, and keep them all together. So when you place them on the card front, the pattern is all going to go in the same order. So now what we need to do is we need to prep these pieces, and we need to keep them in the correct order. So I'm just going to flip them over this way. And that gray side is really beautiful too. I'm going to take some glue dots, or not glue dots, dimensionals, and I'm going to add up 3 of them to each of these panels. And these are just little pieces of dimensionals along the edges. I need to get another sheet out, but we're going to use these first. I don't waste any piece of the dimensionals, and it looks like I've got just enough, and I'm going to actually need a little bit more with that label, but I'll use them. I think I've got some over there on this side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move these over, and we're going to bring in the card here. So I want the center one. So we're going to take this one up, and we're going to release the backings by just pressing on your dimensional and peeling them off. You can also use your take your pick tool to do that. This piece is going to go right down in the center, and it overhangs the basic gray by about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch, something like that. I'm not going to press it down yet because I want to make sure these other pieces are going to be the correct distance away. Again, I'm just pressing my thumbnail into those dimensional backs and peeling them off. And then this piece is going to go right here. And then this one, we'll release the backings on this third panel and peel those off. And then we're going to layer this one right on the top, just like that. So for me, I see I'm so picky, but there's just a little bit bigger of a gap here than there is here. So that means one of these is off. So I think the center one is off. So actually, let me just move this a little bit over. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna press those down so they're permanently stuck. All right, now we're going to wrap that ribbon around the card front. So I am using this beautiful petal pink organdy striped ribbon. It's really easy to work with. And we're gonna just wrap this around. I'm making sure that on the inside of the card, it is flat and not twisted. And I'm right-handed, so I start with a spool on my right hand, and then I wrap it around the card front. I'm extending it all the way over so I know I have enough ribbon to work with. And it doesn't really matter where you create this bow right now, because you can shift it into place later. So I'm just gonna tie my knot and get my T, use my middle finger to help me hold this ribbon in place. And then I'm gonna create a huge loop that will reduce down. So this, this is always the hardest part of card making, for me at least. Some of you, maybe you guys can do it, but I struggle with making bows, especially on camera when it's so super hard and stressful. But anyway, let's see how I did here. We're gonna poke that out there. Okay, that's not too bad. It's a little twisted, but we can just fool around with it. So now what I'm gonna do is I don't want those loopies to be that big, so we're gonna just reduce them down a little bit by pulling on the ends. Okay, now that I like that bow, I'm just gonna snip this off here at an angle. I'm also gonna trim this one off a little bit too, because it's just a little bit too long. Now we're going to move the bow into place, and I'm just gonna turn it over like this. Okay, I think it's gonna be good, but I might wanna still move it. We're gonna set this aside. We're gonna work on the sentiment label. This is the die I used from Tasteful Labels Dies. Let's see, I've got an extra one if I need it. I've got my basic gray, and I've got the Just Saying Hello already on one of our blocks. And I'm gonna just stamp this right down on the center of that die. All right, so that's that. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to stamp the inside of the card along with the envelope. So I need a piece of scrap paper to do that. And here is our envelope and our card. So let's do the card first. I'm going to, again, stamp in the basic gray with this beautiful peony. And I chose the basic gray because, watch, you'll see why. It's just gorgeous. A darker gray on the gray granite just really pops that flower out. So that's just gorgeous. Now the envelope, this is a basic white envelope. I'm gonna just stamp that peony in the front of the envelope. And now I'm gonna, let me just show you the example. I stamped the flap like this, and here's the front of the envelope. So I always like to coordinate my cards in the envelope. So I'm gonna show you how I stamped the flap. So I'm just gonna ink up that peony again. I'm gonna stamp it right down in the middle. And then I'm gonna stamp one over in the corner and then over here in the corner. And then I'm gonna close up the flap, and I'm gonna work on the areas that are still white. And you can just kind of mix and match how you, you know, stamp these in the corner there. I might just put a little bit right there. And then this one, I'm gonna open up again and just stamp right there. So that kind of fills in all the white areas, and we can call that good. All right, let me just get rid of that scrap paper, and then we're going to bring the card back in. Again, we want to give this label some dimension, so I've got to grab some I got some mini dimensionals over here, so let me just cut off the edge here. We'll need about 4. And then just gonna peel those off. 4 should be fine. Kind of need to leave an area there for that ribbon. Again, these work the same way as the other Stampin' Dimensionals, just pressed in the center of the dimensional and just peel those off. Okay, so now let's bring in our card, and I'm just gonna lay this right on here. What I want this to do is I want this die to be in the center of this panel here, so I'm just kind of looking at that label in the distance on the bottom. Okay, that looks good. My ribbon looks good. It's in the spot I want it, so I'm just gonna press that down. Now, my example card did not have any embellishments, meaning pearls or rhinestones. For this card, we're going to add some pearls. The really, really small, delicate pearls would look really nice on this card design. So my goal here was to show you a couple different options on how you can create beautiful cards in different ways. So I'm just taking the smallest pearl on the sheet here. That's because that's all I have left. As you can see, they're almost gone. I'm just going to add 5 of them on the card front. So that's 3. Let's put one up here, 4. And then I'm going to put one maybe like right there. Okay, so that is our card for today. So let me put them side by side. I'll clean up my area here so it doesn't look like a chaotic mess. But here's the one we started with. It does not have any embellishments on it, any pearls. And it's designed with the same sizes paper that's cut, but just rotated, all right? And then here's the one that is based off the template that's going horizontal. So let me know which one you prefer. Do you prefer this one here that's a portrait mode, or the horizontal mode with the bumped up embellishments? I would love to hear what you think. All right, so for all your inspiration, you can visit me at inspiredbygram.com. Thanks for watching.